Go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
In addition to the ballroom and the Rose Garden
I'm going
patio,
into the back. Sorry. Go ahead.
in addition to the ballroom and the Rose Garden patio, is the president looking at any other renovations or significant kind of projects here at the White House?
Not to my knowledge, no. But he's a builder at heart, clearly, and so his heart and his mind is always churning about how to improve things here on the White House grounds. But at this moment in time, of course, the ballroom is really the president's main priority. Kristen.
Last week, President Trump.
As you all know, you hear from him directly on social media. He likes to share memes, he likes to share videos, he likes to repost things that he sees other people post on social media as well, and I think it's quite refreshing that we have a president who is so open and honest directly himself. Many a times on Truth, you are hearing directly from the president.
I love how shameless the spin is. Donald Trump posted about a fake technology that gives people fake hope, and they say, I love how transparent and I love how open he is. This is like Donald Trump getting on camera, taking a shit on the Oval Office desk, and they're like, I like how unique his plumbing strategies are. He's really just pushing the boundaries on what's acceptable in society. No, he's not pushing the boundaries, he's being an effing idiot. He's literally posting videos of fake AI deepfakes of himself. He didn't realize that, then him deleting it is a concession. Them deleting it is a very clear concession that, oh shit, we didn't know this was fake. We didn't realize that he posted this. This is quite clearly gonna end up harming us in the long run. It's very not common that they delete things like that.
Karoline Leavitt, his press secretary, the woman who keeps insisting Trump didn't draw this or sign this in 2003, she was 5 years old. She was too young even for Jeffrey Epstein in 2003. But she knows. She knows. They're all... I love that these people are so certain he didn't do this.
When Jimmy Kimmel asked, does the White House have HR? The audience lost it. It wasn't just a joke. It was a line that summed up the absurdity of Trump's latest scandal. Because apparently, the President of the United States had just made a bizarre public remark about his own press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. And Kimmel, as usual, didn't just comment, he obliterated them both on live TV. If you're tired of watching late-night comedy do the job political journalism won't hit like right now, because Kimmel just turned a presidential gaffe into a national punchline that even Fox News couldn't ignore.
Get it out like immediately, is that right? How's Caroline doing? Is she doing good? Should Caroline be replaced?
No. That's up to you, sir.
It'll never happen.
Nobody wants to say
I say she does a great job. Do you want to elaborate on
and those lips, they move like a machine gun, right?
Do you want to elaborate on the
House press secretary apparently inadvertently admitted that Tom Homan was in a meeting with undercover FBI agents. She made that admission yesterday when she got carried away in saying something that no one else has said. She claimed Mr. Homan never took the $50,000.
Did the president ask the Justice Department to close the case, and does Homan have to return the $50,000?
Well, Mr. Homan never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight, number one. Number two, this was another example of the weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice against one of President Trump's strongest and most vocal supporters in the midst of a presidential campaign. You had FBI agents going undercover to try and entrap one of the president's top allies and supporters, someone who they knew very well would be taking a government position months later. Mr. Homan did absolutely nothing wrong.
Let's rewind to how this feud started. June 2024, CNN's This Morning. Host Casey Hunt welcomes Karoline Leavitt, then fresh from joining Trump's re-election communications team. The plan was to preview the debate. What actually happened was pure chaos. Within 90 seconds, Leavitt launches into a rant accusing CNN moderators Jake Tapper and Dana Bash of being anti-Trump propagandists.
Donald Trump actually said our new military will bring back new focus on fitness. I love the idea that Trump is lecturing these guys on fitness. I mean, if that isn't the fondue pot calling the kettle fat, I don't know what is. Listen up, generals. I want to make something very clear. The Pillsbury Dope president wants you to do Pilates. The only push-ups Donald Trump does are from the side of an ice cream truck. If you get so fat you start breaking escalators, you are unfit to serve in the military.
And I don't know if you guys caught the CNN town hall last night with AOC and Bernie Sanders, but I sure did. And it's very clear that they are now the leaders of the Democrat Party. And the Democrats are in complete disarray. And we hope a few moderate Democrats with some common sense will step up to the plate and do the right thing to vote to open the federal government.
Hunt tries to steer her back to the topic. Leavitt doubles down. Jake Tapper called President Trump a liar. She snaps. Hunt cuts in, visibly frustrated. Ma'am, we're going to stop this interview now. Thank you for your time. The feed ends mid-sentence. Boom. CNN cuts her off live. That clip went viral within minutes. By that afternoon, every late-night writer's room in America was scrambling to rewrite their monologues, and Kimmel didn't disappoint.
When President Trump last addressed the BRT when he was on the campaign trail, his big push was on tax cuts. He's going there today as he's proposing tax hikes in the form of tariffs. And I'm curious for why he's prioritizing that over the tax cuts.
He's actually not implementing tax hikes. Tariffs are a tax hike on foreign countries that, again, have been ripping us off. Tariffs are a tax cut for the American people, and the president is a staunch advocate of tax cuts. As you know, he campaigned on no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security benefits. He is committed to all three of those things, and he expects Congress to pass them later this year.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have. They don't get charged on foreign companies, they get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press. Mary, go.
The next night on Jimmy Kimmel Live, he played the CNN moment and deadpanned, "Well, that went well. Usually you get cut off by bad Wi-Fi, not by the anchor," the crowd howled. That was the spark. From that day forward, Karoline Leavitt became Kimmel's favorite recurring side character in the ever-expanding Trump sitcom. Fast forward to January 2025. Trump is back in office, and Karoline Leavitt, just 27 years old, is now officially the White House press secretary.
Our president is scheduled for his annual checkup tomorrow at Walter Reed Hospital. This will be his second yearly checkup this year. He had one 6 months ago, but it feels like it's been a year, so they decided to do it again. And it's smart to do this sort of thing before Halloween. If he gets a clean bill of health, he can continue his annual tradition of eating all Eric's trick-or-treat candy. Checkup will take place in the morning tomorrow, but the White House has already released the results. He is 7'2", 180 pounds, and his erections can deadlift a Cybertruck.
With all due respect to former President Obama, he has no idea what he's talking about. The decision to fire Jimmy Kimmel and to cancel his show came from executives at ABC. That has now been reported, and I can assure you it did not come from the White House, and there was no pressure given from the President of the United States. And how do I know that, Kaylee? Because I was with the President of the United States when this news broke in the United Kingdom.
Kimmel opens his monologue with mock congratulations, saying, "At 27, she's the youngest press secretary ever. I was still renting an apartment with a futon and a broken Keurig at 27, but sure, let's give her the nuclear codes." The crowd laughs, but then Kimmel twists the knife. She's reportedly married to a much older real estate guy. In that case, congratulations, you're overqualified. Then he shows a clip of Leavitt's new influencer-friendly press plan.
No matter how bad you think your job is, it's important to remember there's someone out there who has to give Donald Trump a prostate exam. For some, literally. For others, just figuratively.
How about we go to Marco? You can talk a little bit about what's going on, and
well,
go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President. I don't know if one day perhaps the entire story will be told about the events of yesterday, but suffice it to say, it's not an exaggeration that none of it would have been possible without the President of the United States being involved.
Do you have any idea how difficult it is to give the president a prostate exam with Marco Rubio poking his nose up there all the time?
To answer this, I didn't realize she'd be in the room, but she's on my list. Karoline Leavitt.
She's become a star. It's that face, it's that brain, it's those lips, the way they move like she's a machine gun. Is she in the room?
She's in the room.
She's a star, and she's great. She's a great person, actually. But she's I don't think anybody has ever had a better press secretary than Karoline. She's been amazing.
Where she invites social media creators to apply for press room access, Kimmel squints at the camera. Finally, a press briefing that doubles as a TikTok dance audition. The audience roars. Then he adds, she promised a more circus-like atmosphere. Great. The White House needed more juggling. Everything was fine until September 2025, when the tension between Kimmel and Trump world reached boiling point.
Caroline, so too on the Holman investigation, I mean, can you just speak to, did the president ask the Justice Department to close the case, and does Holman have to return the $50,000?
Well, Mr. Holman never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight, number one. Number two, this was another example of the weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice against one of President Trump's strongest and most vocal supporters in the midst of a presidential campaign. You had FBI agents going undercover to try and entrap one of the president's top allies and supporters, someone who they knew very well would be taking a government position months later. Mr. Holman did absolutely nothing wrong, and even the President's Department of Justice, even Kash Patel's FBI, looked into this just to make sure. They had a number of different prosecutors and FBI agents who looked into this. They found zero evidence of illegal activity or criminal wrongdoing in the White House, and the president stand by Tom Homan 100% because he did absolutely nothing wrong, and he is a brave public servant who has done a phenomenal job in helping the president shut down the border. Mary.
ABC temporarily shelved Kimmel's show for a week after a controversial segment Trump's team celebrated online, calling it justice. But when reporters pressed Karoline Leavitt about it, she backpedaled fast. President Trump had no idea, she told the press pool. He doesn't involve himself in network decisions. The Times of India and Reuters ran the quote side by side with footage of Trump laughing about the suspension at a rally.
Karoline Leavitt, who's sick, she's out of control. And I'm not sure whether she's just demented, ignorant, a stone cold liar, or all of the above. But the notion that an official White House spokesperson would say that the Democratic Party consists of terrorists, violent criminals, and undocumented immigrants, this makes no sense. That this is what the American people are getting from the Trump administration in the middle of a shutdown. So their actions continue to speak for themselves, which is why they're on the wrong side of public sentiment. Thanks. Yeah.
Proved that the Democrat Party's main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. That is who the Democrat Party is catering to, not the Trump administration and not the White House and not the Republican Party, who is standing up for law-abiding Americans, not just across the country, but around the world. And that
Kimmel returned to air the next week with a vengeance. Then came October 15th, 2025, the night everything boiled over. During a morning photo op, President Trump made a strange, unprompted remark about Leavitt's beautiful lips. While addressing reporters, cameras captured it. Within hours, Jimmy Kimmel Live had the clip queued up. Kimmel played it once, paused, raised an eyebrow, and simply said, "Does the White House have HR?" The crowd erupted. He let the laughter roll before continuing, "I mean, what's next?"
Trump announced the suit this morning. He wrote, "Today I have the great honor of bringing a $15 billion defamation and libel lawsuit against the New York Times, one of the worst and most degenerate newspapers in the history of our country. The Times has engaged in a decades-long method of lying about your favorite president, me, my family business, the America First movement, MAGA, and our nation as a whole. The New York Times has been allowed to freely lie, smear, and defame me for far too long, and that's any we may have heard of, by the way, 7 wars. Last week it was 10 wars, now it's 7. Tomorrow it'll be 15 wars. This guy is he ended Star Wars. I don't know if you heard that. He did. Poor Mark Hamill had to move on to other things. Listen, I have an idea of how you can get people to stop talking about releasing the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files.
Casual Fridays and mandatory lip gloss inspections, he pretended to scan the ceiling. "I will not live to see anything weirder than this." The monologue exploded online overnight. The Wrap called it Kimmel's cleanest kill yet. Even conservative outlets clipped the line, unable to resist the viral traction. Social media turned, "Does the White House have HR?" into a meme template. By the next morning, CNN and MSNBC were replaying it in roundtables.
And he's already figured out where to get the money. Trump today became the first president to sue the New York Times. He's suing the New York Times for $15 billion for defamation. $15 billion. Where does he even come up? These are like numbers my children make up when they're talking about money. I thought he said the New York Times was failing. He thinks they have $15 billion?
And Fox News hosts were fuming that Kimmel had disrespected the office. Kimmel didn't care. The next night, he opened his show by saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, was I supposed to respect the Lips office?" The audience doubled over. Everything was fine until Leavitt herself tried to clap back. She tweeted that Kimmel's comments were sexist and beneath him. Within an hour, Kimmel replied on air, "Beneath me? Ma'am, the president already covered that topic this morning."
There's a rumor making the rounds this weekend that Trump was dead because he hadn't been in front of a camera for a few days. That's how much he's in front of a camera. When we don't see him there, we assume he must be dead. And also he has mysterious bruising on his hand, which they tried to cover up with makeup. And this cover-up's even sloppier than the Epstein one. How could anyone let him go out like this? I mean, like he was spackled. He had to have done that himself, right? Looks great, sir. No one will notice a thing. The White House claims the reason for these bruises and his big fat elephant ankles is he suffers from a condition known as chronic venous insufficiency, which in layman's terms means he's got a very small venus. He's got an insufficient...
The studio lost it. That's the part ABC kept in the broadcast even after standards flagged it for being too sharp. The official clip has racked up over 14 million views on YouTube. Let's pause and map this feud out. In less than 18 months, Kimmel has roasted Leavitt for picking fights on CNN, mocked her influencer-style press room, been shelved by a network allegedly pressured by the administration, and come back swinging with one of the most viral late-night lines of 2025. It's not just a roast, it's resistance in real time.
The president has been hard at work coming up with all sorts of nonsense to distract us from the Epstein files, including, I don't know if you saw this, but he made a major announcement. I am ordering my administration to declassify and release all government records related to Amelia Earhart. Her final tip and everything else about her. Thank you for your attention.
Kimmel turned Trump's own communications director into the punchline of a presidency. Everything was fine until the irony kicked in. The youngest press secretary in history was supposed to make the administration look modern, relatable, and polished. Instead, she became the embodiment of Trump's most awkward impulses. Each time she spoke, Trump interrupted. Each time she defended him, he embarrassed her. And each time, Kimmel was there with the replay and the punchline.
It's important to try to put things in perspective. Last time, my 8-year-old Billy were laying in bed, and he told me that in 5 billion years, we're all going to die. The human race is going to be gone because the Earth is going to be consumed by the sun. And I was like, what? And I asked Alexa, I said, is that true? And she said, yeah, it is true. And you know what? Maybe we shouldn't worry so much, right, Guillermo? Yes, yeah. Maybe that's the moral to the story. Let's just be thankful that we are in the strong, capable, darkly bruised baby hands of the orangutan in the Oval Office.
You know, I don't really know how much he weighs. I can tell you one thing, that if you would ask me what should you do for fitness, I would just say run around yourself 3 times. You're going to be in great shape.
That's the thing about Kimmel. He doesn't need to yell. He just mirrors what's happening and lets the absurdity speak for itself. His best jokes aren't insults. They're reality with better editing. If you still believe humor is the last honest language left on television, hit like right now because this feud proves the point. Trump keeps trying to control the narrative and Kimmel keeps stealing it back with a joke. The story ends, for now, with that one perfect line that defines the entire mess.
There has to be something in there about it. I can't imagine him doing this because he cares about anyone else. This Epstein list, it's the first time Trump didn't want his name on something. There's a lot of speculation, naturally, including from the writer Michael Wolff, who wrote a bunch of books about Trump. Wolff floated the possibility that Trump may have had Epstein killed himself, which, listen, I know he's done a lot of things, bad things, but I don't think Donald Trump ordered a hit on Jeffrey Epstein. And the reason I don't think he ordered a hit fantasy is more powerful than reality in this MAGA sphere we live in, which meant it was time for our commander-in-cheeseburger to weigh in on one of the most pressing issues our military faces today, unattractive
Does the White House have HR? Because if you're running a government that looks like a late-night sketch, the least you can do is check your employee handbook. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to America Facticity for more breaking news.